In this video, Steph and I are doing a full boudoir shoot and then testing out a new photo editing software that says it can learn my exact editing style and do what I would do, unique to every single image. So that...
What?
Okay, so that's the before, and that's the
That
after.
is wild.
Welcome folks, hi Steph, how are you?
Hi Matt, I'm good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. In this video, we're going to test out a new photo editing software that's based around AI. Now, I know AI triggers thoughts of, the Terminator movie or something like that. I want to just give you a really quick overview, then go shoot and then explain it in more detail after we've got it uploading. Essentially, this software, Imagine AI, it's different to those ones that have a profile that then kind of guesses what you want. This software actually has real machine learning where you create a profile based on thousands of your own edits. Then it learns what I like, what I do in certain situations when there's off level or off exposure or this, that, or the other. And then it creates edits just for me. And over time, it'll improve and get closer and closer and closer to my editing style. So I'm not a wedding photographer, but even for me, that could save me days of editing every month. So that's if it works. I haven't actually tried it yet. Full disclosure, this is a sponsored video. They got in touch with me to check this out. I haven't tried it yet. We're gonna see together if it actually works.
We're gonna try it now?
We're going to try it now. So they suggested we do a boudoir shoot. They have a lot of wedding photographers using it, and I'm guessing sports because they also have so many files to edit. So let's go shoot, then we'll upload it and I'll explain the whole process there. But if you do want to check it out as well, there's a link below that you can get 1,500 free edits. That's the same one that they gave to me. So grab some
Yeah, it has some body suits and stuff.
Perfect. Let's go.
Cool.
It is so great to be back in America and shooting with Steph again. She's always a pleasure. This whirlwind shoot was just kind of a simulation of what we would do over an hour or two for a full boudoir shot. We shot in a couple of different outfits in different areas of this beautiful bedroom to get a cross-section of images that then we can feed to the AI software and see if it's able to pick out issues with the images and edit them in the way that I would if I were doing it myself. So that must have been our fastest shoot ever.
Yes.
Like a little 5 or 10 minute boudoir shoot with rapid changes. But that's great. I just wanted to get some sample shots that are typical of the kind of shooting that I do. And I went through and actually intentionally off-leveled some of the shots because when you're rushing on a real shoot, taking thousands of shots, it just happens that some of them are going to be off-level, especially if you're shooting from weird angles at the background. So as I'm backing up the files here, first I'm going to import them into Lightroom, and then once they're all in, we can create a project for Imagine to upload and use my profile. So just circling back to tell a bit more about the software, there's the one I described where you can make a Matt Granger profile or a Steph Fan profile, and actually you can do it for different genres of photography. So, but each one needs a minimum of 5,000 edited photos for it to learn properly your process. You can see it's not just a preset where it's like one size fits all. So I made one for art portraiture, but you could make an extra one for landscape and an extra one for headshots and an extra one for birds and upload thousands of images to each one. That uploading and creating profile thing doesn't cost anything. Then once the profile is made, it takes a little bit of time for the server to analyze it all and make your profile. Then it's basically there. So with my images imported here, I can go into Imagine AI, open the right profile here, then select the folder in my library that I want it to use, and then start the upload. So it's actually going to upload the images. We took, just over 600 images in that little period of time. You can see how you end up with thousands when you do an actual shoot. And then this is kind of my first time going through it, but it says once they're uploaded, it takes about a second per photo for it to suggest what the edit should be.
Okay.
And then it'll send me an email saying that they're ready, and you just download like a tiny little sidecar file to Lightroom that will then tell it what to do to the photos. So there's that part where you can create your own profile, and honestly that's the one that's interesting to me. But they also have a thing where they've got pros in different fields like weddings and whatnot who've made a profile based on their style of shooting over years. So if you want to, you could apply their profile to your shots, which as a professional I'm less interested in, but I can see the appeal if you wanted to like try it out to see what could be a different creative direction you go in on your images. So, you know, it's still probably more personalized than just buying a preset and slapping it onto your shots, because that hasn't even analyzed the image for trying to get the result. So it's going to take a little minute here for this to upload. Let's just magically edit it until that's just about finished.
Cool.
Okay, so it says it's done, and I have an email from them saying that it's ready to go. So you basically just download the file, as I said, open up Lightroom, and then those photos now have the edit applied. So let's take a look at them. So, I mean, there's so many. Well, first of all, my profile is based on creating black and white images, so now all showing up as black and white. There's so many here. Why don't I'll go through and choose out a handful, maybe one from each of the shoots we did, and then we can look at the before and after and see what it's actually done. Okay, so I've chosen out, what do we got? 6 images that I think kind of show pretty cool what it's doing, and one that's a bit more basic that, you know, to be fair, given that I had uploaded basic things, I don't think it's possible if it's learning my style that it can, you know, if you upload basic stuff, it can only give you basic stuff. So if you really heavily do stuff, you should expect that it's going to be in your style coming back. But anyway.
And you didn't edit any of these?
No, so they came in, I'm going to show you, let's jump in on this one to start off. So this is what it's suggesting. So when you open it, it already has its preset applied. So if we have a look in the develop module here, let's just get that off so we can look at it as big as possible. If I hit this button, it'll show us the before. So that's how it was. And actually, if it's added a crop, that won't even have shown there. So let's just check that. Okay, so that's the before. So it looks like it's actually cropped it, changed the perspective. Well, let's go back to the after. Yeah, so it's changed the perspective, it's cropped it, things are straighter, and you look brighter. So let's actually take a look. So when you go into the develop module, it's actually going to show you there. So it's the exposure's up almost to stop. It's boosted the highlights just 1. You can see the tone curve is a little changed. It's boosted the oranges. That's something I often do because the orange is kind of hitting your skin tones. So where did it have it at 10? Sharpening I think is about normal. It's got, so I don't know which ones of these it's actually made adjustments to, but it's done a transform on the perspective as well. So
that's
yeah,
crazy.
you can see the perspective. It does look a lot better in the after, and that is the kind of black and white that I tend to turn out. So I'm surprised that it cropped it in a way that actually made sense. But in terms of the levels and the way it's pushing the color channels, whether you like it at home or not, that's how I edit my shots. So that's, if it did the whole shoot that well, then it can really save me time. Let's take a look at the next one. So, okay, so that...
What?
Okay, so that's the before, and that's the
That
after.
is wild.
Okay, so I mentioned that I shot some off level on purpose. You need to frame it a little bit wide for it to be able to correct that, because bits are going to be cropped off, but it makes a whole hell of a lot of difference. So it's done quite a lot there. Let's have a look. So it has corrected the perspective, the tone curve is different. Again, a little bit of clarity, a lot of exposure. The blacks have been dropped down. So because it added a lot of exposure, what I would do in that situation is I don't want to lose, you were wearing the black bodysuit there, I don't want to lose the blacks. So even though it's unnaturally contrasty, I would bring the shadows down there, and the tone curve is doing it anyway. So it's all squared off. And would I, if I were going to print this, yes, I would probably go in and do more to it. But for the kind of files I fed it, where I'm making it for a tutorial, this is kind of exactly the kind of, well, maybe even better, but it's the kind of place that I would try and get it to so that it's at least not got obvious errors in it.
That is wild.
This one, so standing, so a lot less difference there, but still it's corrected the perspective. I think the contrast is better. And you can see the level on the bottom there, it's actually fixed that up for us. So that's a fairly simple one, but it's still, you know, if I was going to put something in a tutorial for you guys about shooting a boudoir course or for YouTube, I probably wouldn't put this before, but the after, I would be okay with that. So yeah, I can see that why wedding photographers use this, but I can see a real time saving here. Pretty pose before. Okay, so it's fairly simple, but this one, I saw it before, it does include a crop.
Oh. I just think like, you know, SpongeBob or Squidward's like, future! This is crazy. Okay, maybe.
No idea what you're talking about. I don't even catch the words. What?
Squidward, future.
Do you speak this language?
Thanks.
Okay, so 99% sure that's getting cut. Back to the job. So this is actually the before, and as we jump in to the after, so it has cropped it, it's leveled it, and so exposure is up, highlights, shadow, so it's put a lot more contrast through there. Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of it's like when you're watching an ad for a TV and how good the quality is on your TV. You can't see how good it is because you're watching it on a crappy TV. People at home might think these edits are junk, but they're my style.
Yeah.
So if it's going to emulate your style, you'll like it. I like these
I would
because,
assume that you edited these.
well, in a
Which
way
is
I
crazy.
did, because I gave it, I think, 14,000 images that I have edited it. It learned what I do in that situation. So in this one, I probably would crop it slightly differently, but it's still better than it was. So the exposure, again, contrast.
What was it
again,
before?
it's boosted the orange and yellow channels to lift your skin tone. So, you know, this is a black and white profile that I made. I might actually leave this as a color. So if we put it to theirs, but then switched it back to color, there's probably a nice shot there somewhere. So you can then go in, tweak it, and then send it back information of what you've done, so it will further refine your profile. Because, you know, obviously, if you everyone does this, when you look back at shots that you edited 10 years ago, that you're like, oh my God, what was I doing? So your style changes over time. So if you got them back and there's something, you know, 10 that you don't like to edit, you can re-edit, send them the re-edits, just the little sidecar file, so you don't have to upload so much data, and then it will keep learning through the algorithm. And then of course over time, if there was shoots where I didn't want to use their service and I edit it myself, I can also upload them to my profile to keep it learning and learning.
Oh, that's crazy.
Couple more, we'll just do the quick before and after. Okay, so again, we've got the perspective distortion in there. I wouldn't have even noticed it, but you see the gap on the left side there? It has straightened that up nicely. The back shot. Okay, so that's a fairly straightforward one. It's, again, put the contrast and everything through there. So most of the ones I chose out there have quite a dramatic result, but then a lot of them are more like this because it's the simple samples that I had fed it. So before and after. Oh, there's Jonathan in the background. Fairly minor adjustments, so it's gone to black and white, it's adjusted the contrast a little bit, it's added some texture. I wonder if it knew that because it's a close-up of the face, and I often these days use texture rather than clarity or dehaze to get a bit of skin texture without making it look too crunchy. And again, it's brought up the orange tones, but the cool thing is, it's not, as you were saying, like a preset, because every file it's adjusted the orange level or the highlights and the shadows or the exposure or the level for what it needs. It's not just like putting up every one by 11. It's doing them to where I tend to do it. So whether you like the edits or not, as I said, it is my style. So it can save me a lot of time. So if you want to try it out for yourself and see if it's able to learn your style and if it's saving you time, check the link below. I don't get a commission from you using that link. It's just for the community. You get 1,500 free edits. So uploading all your images is free, create the profile is free, then you've got 1,500 shots that you can edit. Then I think after that they're 5 cents per shot. So if you had 100 shots, that's $5. Yeah, thank you for shooting. Great to have the images all done.
Thank you, Imagine. This is amazing.
Wow, it's amazing for us to have finished the edit within an hour of doing
Have
the
fun
shoot.
editing the video.
Thank you. If you guys could get to work on doing an automated version of that, that would be great too. But thank you, Steph. Thank you, Imagine. And folks, if you have any questions about the software, let me know. I'll be updating my profile over time with more tweaks. So as I learn, I'm happy to share more with you. Link below, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.